Welcome to the reading of Turning 25 on my 52nd birthday. This is a story of my life right after my divorce as I grew into a new woman. Please comment any questions on the video below. I'll get back to them as soon as I can. And thank you so much. Please like and subscribe also. Thanks. Time for chapter 23. I'm going to read this in two segments, and I will summarize on the second segment of this. I just don't want the video to be too long, and this is a pretty long chapter. Veronica was looking forward to Tuesday night. She really wanted to let everything go. She needed to learn more about herself sexually, and he was a good partner for that. No inhibitions. She felt like she could really start letting herself loose with him. He made her feel safe. It was a little strange how she felt like he was always in control, and she still felt safe. She still is having trust issues, but he made her truly feel safe. Renee brought lunch in for her. She needed to catch up on a couple emails and write up some documentation for one of the clients. She needed to follow up with a couple different ones. Monday went well. Tomorrow was the day she really was looking forward to. She got home and she should have put on her work clothes, at least got on the treadmill or something, workout clothes, and got on the treadmill or something, but she was so excited for tomorrow that she just drank too much instead. Sometimes she was not quite sure why she did this, but she did. Before she drank too much, she pulled out her tarot cards to do a reading on herself and Rick. She was so excited because the tarot cards indicated the beginning of a new relationship. She just assumed that that would mean her and him in a sexual relationship. Tuesday morning, Veronica put her makeup on and got dressed. She wanted to look perfect. She so enjoyed getting dressed up and didn't get to do that much when she was at the office in Denver, but today was even more important. She was going to get to live out one of her sexual fantasies. If she could really do this, she would break some old sexual behavior patterns that she had taken on over the years. Would she feel unfulfilled? Would she feel fulfilled like so many other women do every time they have sex? It was 8 a.m. when she arrived at the office. Her meeting with the president and vice president would take place around 1 p.m. In her mind, she could not separate the meeting from the sexual encounter. They were almost one and the same to her, but she knew she had to be professional and focused in the meeting, and she would. Veronica is one hell of a lady. She may be thinking very nasty thoughts, but she could put them aside when she needed to focus. She also knew when she could and or should use her more feminine charms to her advantage. All in all, she's pretty lucky. The meeting went without a hitch. There was nothing on the agenda that Veronica couldn't handle. There was definitely a couple areas that would challenge her, but nothing that she felt could not be done. The afternoon was going by so slow. She wanted the evening done. She wanted the evening to come so bad. She was having a hard time getting through anything. It was 5 p.m. and it was time for her to leave. She hadn't heard from Rick all day. She figured he knew that they were supposed to meet. As she was driving home, he texted her asking if she left, and she texted him back letting him know she was on her way home. He then texted her again saying that he wouldn't be able to make it tonight. She couldn't believe it. What the heck was that about? She texted him very nicely saying, I'll be home if you change your mind later to stop by. He didn't respond. She arrived home and it was raining out. She was waiting for a reply from him. There wasn't any. She started drinking wine and she was listening to music. She was so disappointed. Her eyes were starting to swell up. She didn't want to feel this way. She was so looking forward to the sex, and now nothing. 2 hours later, still no response from him. Nothing. She finished these 3 glasses of wine and it was only 7:30. She decided she needed to take a walk. She was hurt, disappointed, and a little angry. She really needed to let off some steam. She began walking and the rain was still coming down, but more in a mist. She had her music on and was wearing her earbuds. She was walking very fast. It wasn't helping. She was still so disappointed. She wanted to lash out at someone. She wanted to be angry with him. But how could she? She didn't tell him what she was looking forward to. She didn't tell him that she wanted to live out a little bit of a fantasy. Blaming him was not fair. She got herself into this. No one forced her. She still wanted to. She really just wanted to hate him. She didn't think she deserved to be disappointed. This was the worst feeling ever. She got home and sat on the front porch. She then decided to text Rick one more time. She texted him explaining how she felt. It wasn't nice that he didn't respond to her text and that he should know that she is broken and should respond appropriately and not ignore her. It was 10 p.m. Veronica already had 2 more glasses of wine. She was actually already working on her second bottle. She started crying and couldn't stop. Another one of those nights was some kind of bad karma. Another one of those nights. Was this some kind of bad karma? No, it was just having real feelings again. She knew this, and she had a lot of making up to do. This crying was also a part of her healing process. At least she knew she could cry now. Tonight she wondered if it was worth it. She hadn't felt this hurt in a very long time. It was more than hurt. It was looking forward to something and to only get disappointed. The biggest issue right now was, would she start avoiding looking forward to things in fear of being disappointed? She finally fell asleep sometime after 11, and she knew she had to be up at 5 a.m. This was going to be a very rough morning. She didn't want to talk to him at all. She wanted to hit him. It's much easier to blame someone else for your feelings than to buck up and take it in the chin. Veronica knew that she couldn't blame him, but at the same time, why should she take all the blame? She woke up on time and got in the shower. She had taken some aspirin before going to bed, so she was not feeling the effects of the too much wine. She noticed that she had a text, and lo and behold, it was Rick. She read it and immediately was so angry she was about ready to explode. He texted that he did not appreciate waking up to these kind of texts, and that if she wanted to be with him, then making him pity her was not the way. It said that she needed to learn how to separate being friends and having sex, that the two didn't have anything to do with each other. She wasn't trying to get pity from him. She wasn't trying to get anything from him. She was telling him how she felt, and he just slammed her. Yes, Veronica's 51, and yes, she is intelligent, and yes, she is strong, but not when it comes to sex and relationships. This felt so new to her, and here she thought she sent a text just explaining how she felt, and he turned it around and made it about her putting the guilt on him and thinking she wanted him to pity her. She needed to respond, and she needed to respond correctly. There were 2 issues, their friendship and their sexual relationship. She wanted to make sure to have saved both, but why? At this point, did he deserve it at all? Why would he want to be so ugly to her? She was noticing she was nothing but nice to him. How did he have such a hold on her that he could be like that, and she still wanted to save any part of their relationship? She told herself she would never let anyone make her feel like that again. Not that she blamed her feelings on him, but that he could be so mean. She didn't need this in her life. She just got rid of someone that was mean to her. She decided that her response needed to be exactly that. She needed to make sure he understood that she would never expect pity from anyone in any way. She was too strong for that. This was so amazingly upsetting her. How could he think that she would want pity? She felt completely degraded with that comment. She sent the text stating that he misunderstood the meaning behind her text and that it didn't have anything to do with pity, and that she didn't want anyone to ever feel pity for her. She told him that she took responsibility for her own feelings and that how she felt had nothing to do with him. And she was trying to convey she was just trying to convey that to him, but he must have interpreted it incorrectly. His next response was not much better. He basically said that she needed to understand the difference between their friendship and their sexual relationship. She responded just like the strong woman that she is, and said, "I do understand the difference, and I texted you as a friend, not as a man I had sex with." Then it kind of felt like he needed the upper hand. It felt like he had to believe that what he thought was correct. For some reason this morning, he was going to be right no matter what she said. She had to be okay with the fact that she said what she needed to, and then if he didn't read it or let it go in one ear and out the other, then so be it. He responded again that they just needed to get past this. She responded, "I agree. That was it." Oh boy, in her head, she wanted to take him and slam his head into the cement. How dare he make this about her? How dare he talk to her like that? How dare he treat her like that? She was fuming. She really didn't want to see him for a while, and definitely not today. But in reality, how dare she let him? At what point do you just take the responsibility? All she had to say was, "Fuck you," and nothing more. I don't need your friendship if this is the way you treat your friends. I do not need this kind of fuck buddy if this is the way you treat your women. I'm better than that. I deserve better than that. If there was anything that Rick actually did teach her is that she knew she could get almost any man she wanted. She would prove that later this week. I'm going to actually read this in three parts because it does get long, and I do need to talk about that. This part is I was having that meeting, and I really want my fantasy was basically, you know, the power woman being taken over by a man. So I wanted to be in that suit and that skirt and that jacket, and knowing I had just had a power meeting and having that sexual experience right after that, I never told him that that's what I wanted. And come to find out later, he had had an appointment, a personal thing going on in his life that he really couldn't make it, and it wasn't necessarily a good thing. We didn't talk much about it later, but we did prepare our friendship for the most part. We did. I don't think we could ever unrepair our friendship. Until he read this book, I think our friendship would have lasted forever, and then he read the book and haven't heard from him since. So I will continue the next video with the second part of this chapter. Thanks.